Hey guys, it's me, John Avenger, once again, and welcome to another Black History slash movies, low rated movies month. And this time we're talking about a 2008 film that Jason Statham did that I think is badass. I don't know if I reviewed this movie already, but I want to give it another shot. And anyway, that is the 2008 reboot of Death Race. Yeah, this is the first one with Jason Statham. The others, the two prequels or four, whatever they're up to now, don't have them. They have Luke Goss. But this is the first one, and I really enjoyed this film. I think the film has some pretty freaking awesome ass action sequences. It's like one of the last good movies Paul W.S. Anderson made, post the first Resident Evil movie, because this is not a Resident Evil film. It doesn't have Mila Jovovich. It has this hottie over there, which is uh I think Nadine. I think it's not Nadine Velasquez. It's something Velasquez. I forgot her name, but she's hot in the film. I like her. She's actually pretty badass for herself. You got Jason Statham. You got Tyrese Gibson right here from the Fast and the Furious films and so on, and the Transformers movies, except for Part Four. He's good in the film. He's a black guy, so that counts. And this film got a decent rating on IMDb, but on once again, Rotten Tomatoes thought this movie sucked, and I'm like, again, Rotten Tomatoes, what are you thinking? This film is a lot of fun. I liked the Death Race 2000 from the 70s. I thought Stallone did a good job as the villain. I like this guy is Frankenstein. What was his name? David Carradine. He was a good Frankenstein. The film looked good for with no CGI back in the 1970s. And but this one is a much faster pace. I think this one's more brutal than the original. It's definitely R rated. It doesn't hold back. It has a ton of action sequences that are just crazy. It's like Fast and the Furious if it was R rated. Guys are getting run over. There's blood. There's freaking gore. There's a lot of. There's not really tits in the film. I don't remember tits being in the film. But you also have good performances from Ian McShane. He plays an American in this movie because he's British, but he's good in the film. You have Joan Allen from the some of the Bourne films. She's a good actress as well. She plays the bitch here that puts them in this death race, which is I like the premise of this movie. You got a bunch of guys, prisoners and ex-cons or whatever, put in this race so that if they win, they could get their freedom, which is a nice, cool premise. I think it's basically like in the original, but it does things different. This is not a carbon copy of the 1970s version. It does things different and knows exactly what it is. Anderson directs the shit out of this movie. It's the unrated cut is an hour and 51 minutes, and the theatrical cut is an hour and 45. Either way, the movie is worth your time. If you want a fast paced movie that doesn't pull punches, that doesn't hold your hand, and doesn't have a PG-13, look at that. That's an awesome looking freaking thing. That looks like the Punisher skull. R rated or unrated. I want to see the R rated version. I think let me see the commentaries for the unrated version only. I've never seen the theatrical version, but it's still a fun movie. Like if I have reviewed this movie already, I don't think I did, but I wanted to because I've been waiting a long time for this. Just badass. Like that's the perfect word for this movie. Badass. If Parker, Sean, or Tevia, or Anthony or Josh have never seen this movie, now is the time. It's February. There's not much happening in the theaters except for next week we got John Wick Chapter 2 and the Lego Batman movie. 50 Shades Darker. Ugh, no. This is much better. This is an R-rated movie that knows what it is. It's full of testosterone. It's full of gorgeous women like this woman right here. Let me get her in frame. I think I forgot what her name was, but I got to see her name again. Roger Corman's one of the producers of this, like he did with the original 70s version. And I was just very entertained by this. I got this for like $2 at Best Buy on Black Friday, and I was very, very surprised with this. I was like, "Oh, cool! A Jason Statham movie I haven't seen." He has one of the most badass accents I've ever heard. See, that's a badass voice. That's really his voice. He's not changing it like Christian Bale does in The Dark Knight. As great as that movie is, you got to admit that. Statham is awesome. He kicks ass in this movie. He's more of an anti-hero because he's doing this for himself. He's not really doing saving people, but it's an awesome movie. I would take this. I will say this right now. Fate of the Furious or Fast 8, whatever it's called, is not going to be better than this. It's not going to be R-rated. Charlize Theron's going to be a distraction. No Paul Walker, no deal. Sorry. This doesn't have Paul Walker, but that's Tyrese Gibson who worked with him. A man that knew Paul Walker when he was alive. and it's awesome. Badass action movie from 2008, and there were a lot of good movies in 2008. Dark Knight, Iron Man, The Incredible Hulk, Get Smart, freaking Wally. Really good year for films. That year was better than last year. I'm going to say it right then and there. 2008 had a better summer, better movies, more fun, and it had badass action movies that were R rated, that knew what they were, and this underperformed. It should have done a lot better. This should have made $150 million domestically at least, because it was a good movie. It was a good destructive, awesome R-rated romp that just it's awesome to watch. Just watch this on a big screen TV. You're gonna get a kick out of it. And is it smart? No, but it's dumb fun that I really enjoy. And it knows what it gets me. It's a movie that gets me exactly, and it just works as an action film with a lot of horror elements because the way these people die is like straight out of a slasher film. Is crazy. It works, and I think it's awesome. And I like that they call it Death Race. They didn't add the year 2000. And when Jason Statham plays Frankenstein in the film because they give them a mask, the mask looks freaking awesome, and it looks less laughable than some of those comic book movies I've seen in the last 10 years where villains look like shit, like the last Doctor Doom and Apocalypse and X Men Apocalypse. But anyway, Death Race is a really fun movie. Watch it with your friends. It's badass. You get a kick out of it, and it's entertaining. That's what I want out of an action movie: entertainment, and this gave it to me in spades. So that's Death Race from 2008, not the original Death Race 2000, but it's a good movie. I think it's well done, badass action. This is not a movie for critics because they can suck it. They gave this movie a rotten. I know they did. On at least IMDb, they give it more mercy, and it's a film that is held up. I mean, this movie is almost 10 years old, and it's better than any of the prequels that came out. Death Race 2, which I think is decent. 3 and 4 or whatever is coming out, like 25. They make so many sequels to this, but this one is the best of the franchise in my opinion. I respect the original for what it did, and it was a cult film that worked. And this one is a nice follow up. It's an upgrade that we needed, especially in 2008. So that's my review of Death Race from 2008. It's a fun movie. Watch it with your friends. It's worth your time. And if I did review this, I didn't have this hat for it. So I'm reviewing this movie for the first time with my Civil War hat. This is kind of like Civil War, but even more bloodier, but with cars. And like I said, better than whatever Fast and the Furious we're gonna get next, because this movie knows what it is, and it goes for it, and it works. Anyway, thanks for watching. Take care, and I will see you in the next review.